Francisco had the ball. In the second quarter, the Vikings were looking at 4th and short again, but this time elected to punt. They kicked it to John Taylor. He was fighting for extra yards when Sam Ano stripped him of the ball, and Reggie Rutland was on it for Minnesota at the 27. Wilson didn't waste any time. He'd let it go for the end zone. Eric Wright was in the face of Anthony Carter, and the officials called pass interference. Minnesota had the ball at the 1. A Viking turnover would give the Niners their first score. Minnesota 3rd and 16 to the 28. Wilson throws one to Alfred Anderson. He's hit by Ronnie Lott. The hit jarred the ball loose, and Pierce Holt was on it for the 49ers. Chris Dolman kept the Niners out of the end zone with this sack of Steve Young. But Mike Cofer put them on the board, hitting from 30 yards out, and it was a 7-3 game at halftime. When the Niners got the ball in the second half, they were deep in their own end, but they seemed to have their act together. 2nd and 8 at the 4. Roger Craig broke a tackle, and San Francisco had some daylight at the 12. 1st and 10 now at the 22. The play action fake bought Young enough time to find Mike Wilson for a gain of 13. 2nd and 10 at the 35. Young changed the call at the line and teamed with Wilson again. The quick pass netted 16 yards. 2nd and 7 at the 46. The offensive line gave Young plenty of protection here, and he found Roger Craig. San Francisco was now at the 24. 3rd and 5 here at the 19. Terry Greer was open, and suddenly the Niners were at the 1. Roger Craig just got over the goal line, and San Francisco had marched 97 yards and taken the lead 10-7. It wouldn't take long for Minnesota to get the lead back. 5 plays to be exact. The 5th one to their big play man, Steve Young, let one go deep to Taylor. This pass had more hang time than some of the punts last Sunday, but Taylor was able to pull it down before free safety Brad Edwards could get there. Taylor took it into the end zone, and it was 17-14. Then the two teams traded turnovers. Tim McKyer intercepted this pass when Anthony Carter slipped. But Bubba Baker stripped Roger Craig of the ball in the next play, and Minnesota had it back. 17. That was the score with 2 minutes left in the game, and the Niners at the 49-yard line. 3rd and 2. Young dropped back to pass, but would get in trouble and somehow get free. You'll just have to watch the rest and listen to Lon Simmons' call. But when Kevin Fagan got to Wilson here, and Tom Holmoe got a hand on this pass, it was all over. San Francisco had won a game they had to and are very much in the hunt.
Minnesota, good win.
It was a great win. It was really important when you look back on it to win that game. We didn't talk much about the playoff loss and about the way we lost them before that, which we shouldn't have lost. So we came back and won. And it's good to get that one behind us, although there's always the likelihood we'd play them again at some point this year.
Excellent adjustments, I thought, at halftime. Steve was struggling in the first half, came back in the second half and seemed more assured of himself, more in control, and spreading the ball around a little bit. What went on at halftime?
Well, not really. We just stayed with our game plan other than the single play we installed on Taylor's touchdown. But other than that, we just stayed with our game plan and went to some other things and got something underway. Prior to that, we probably played a little too conservative in the first half, and then found that we just had to open up things, had to throw the ball, and it developed. But I must say that it was one of the toughest offensive wins we've had because they are good.
Well, they're good, and that brings up another point: is your defense. Your defense is getting to the point where they've been dominating people. And as far as at the year, Bill, I didn't think they would be capable of that. But with Roberts in there and Fagan playing like he is, and Michael Carter, now you've got 3 big linemen, and they're really taking charge in there.
Well, they're doing well. You hate to say very much about it until the season's over. A couple of big passes by Lomax would scare everything, but But really, the defense has played well, very intensely, and well coordinated. The coaches are doing a great job with them, and they've got a lot of confidence.
I don't think I've ever seen a defense pursue much better. Every time that there's a tackle made, it seems like there's 4 or 5 guys in on it.
Well, they're really working. A person like Dan Stubbs, as an example, Pierce Holt, both, they really can pursue down the line and play the game with a lot of intensity, and they've added to what we do. So all in all, that's the strongest part of our game now, and I'm hoping that our offense can get generated again. But we're going to have to depend on defense in this game because, as you know, Phoenix has a super offense.
So one of the sports writers that was writing the story about your quarterback controversy this week said that it's probably a good idea that Steve plays this week against Phoenix because Phoenix is one of the weak teams.
Well, it was at one time, because they didn't have a franchise there.
Right.
We could go into town and really mop up.
They're a good football team.
But they're a very good team. They've beaten good opponents, and they've played well, and this is a big game for them. We sometimes don't remind ourselves. Minnesota, this was the game of the year for them.
True.
Knowing that McMahon was hurt and that the Bears had lost.
The Bears had lost.
Now the Phoenix Cardinals are sitting there knowing that they can get right back in this race in a hurry, and they're a game out, and they're at home. So this is a big game of the year for them. So we're in for it. We're just going to have to execute and play well and be heads up, and then our great players have to make big plays. And I'm hoping that Jerry Rice will be back in the lineup, back in the action this week, but we can't be sure.
All right, Bill, this quarterback thing, let's get one question, okay? One question. This quarterback thing that keeps coming up week after week after week after week. Why does it come up?
Well, I'm not sure. I think that some of the sports writers try to justify that off a remark I made in London, a brief remark, and they've then tried to drop that whole thing on me. I'm not sure. I'm really not. It's like sharks feeding on something. I'm not sure they all know why they're doing it, but 1 or 2 of them are heading it, and everybody else seems to be falling in line. There is none. We know that. We've said it all along. Joe's our starter. He's not going to play unless he's 100% healthy, and I feel he's 100% healthy. I'm not going to put him out there. If Joe wants to play 3 more years, he'd better let me handle it. And he is. We're very close. We're 10 years of relationship, and I don't think anybody's going to split Joe and myself up or the team up.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to address it anymore because I hate to lend it credibility. Good luck in this one.
Okay.
The player of the week is next, and he's not much of a surprise.
I want an America that's in charge of its own future, that has control of its own destiny. Not a country that is selling off its land and its assets piece by piece to foreign interests. I want an America that exports its products, not its jobs. I want to give every American a chance to build a better life. That's what being president is all about.
About a year and a half ago, I had an accident. I just filed the claim, didn't have to worry about it. There was no lawyers or anything like that. It was fine.
And with no fault, there was no hassle. My insurance paid for everything.
From year to year, the rate didn't change, and for me, that's terrific.
No fault is so much better than the way it used to be. It's really a big improvement. There's just no comparison.
You don't have no fault in California?
If Joe Montana would have had a uniform on last week, Steve Young might not have had a chance to finish the game. In the first half last week, he was not the Steve Young we've seen in the past. But he came out in the second half in control of himself and the team, and that's just what the 49ers expected of him all along. Add to that one of the best runs you'll ever see to win the game, and you'll know why he is this week's BMW Player of the Week.
Well, a lot of people say it's tough coming in during the ball game and trying to make something happen. It's tough when you're called upon to start as well, and you're faced with that all week.
Well, that's true too. Especially the first time, getting back up to speed. I think a lot of times, Wayne, it takes a little time to get your emotions, your reaction time, everything up to speed, and then once you do that, then you're back in the groove again. But you always realize that it's going to take a little while. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah.
Though.
Remember what I told you before the game on Sunday? I said you ought to play about 3 plays at nose tackle before your first offensive series. It might settle you down a little bit.
Probably right, and it probably would have helped, just to get hit around a little bit.
Yeah.
But we did kind of go up and 3 and out for the first period and a half, and we'll have to start much quicker next week.
You look like a different person, though, second half, first half. What were the reasons?
Well, I think we had made some adjustments at halftime, which helped, and then we also. I settled in, obviously, and those combinations got us going in that long drive, and then once that happened, it seems like when you get a couple big plays, things open up, and all of a sudden you get in a groove.
All right, the run, there's the catch and the play, and now it's the run. The run. Best run you've ever made?
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah.
I've never made a run like that where I usually just get out of bounds and get out of the way. To cut back and try to straight arm people, something happened there I didn't understand, but it was just one of those things that happened.
Steve, you've got to have, with your running ability and the way you're able to escape, your escapability when you're back in the pocket, you've got to have great vision. I mean, when Larry Bird plays basketball, they say that he's seen things maybe 3 frames ahead, or he's anticipating, where people are going to be, in the next millisecond or so.
Yeah.
Do you feel you have that ability? Are you seen to feel really good in those situations?
Yeah, I've always felt good in the pocket, knowing where people are coming from, where it was, collapsing, which side to take the best exit from. And I think also playing quarterback, you get that feeling when you're seeing receivers. You can see someone's body position, how their weight is transferring, whether the receiver's going to cross his face where you can throw the ball. So that helps too. But in running, I never practiced that. So maybe all those things help. And when I do get out there, it's the same type of thing, and I can see a little bit ahead.
Did you have to make it so dramatic the last 5 yards?
It was kind of embarrassing. I wish that would never have happened, because my teammates had imitated it the last couple of days, and my mom was laughing about it, and everyone really got a kick out of the fact that I couldn't even make it the last 5 yards. But I have to admit, that was the best I can do.
Which one of your teammates has impersonated the last 5 yards the best?
Well, Harris Barton has taken a special role. I think he's felt like it's special responsibility to show everyone on the team exactly how it happened.
All right, Steve, one more thing. One question that we have to address. This whole situation with the quarterback situation is come up again by, brought up by just a couple people around here. How do you feel about it?
Well, nothing really changes as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to just keep preparing every chance I get to practice, just get this offense down better and better when I play, just try to perform well, and really the media and all the things.
Is it a little upsetting to you?
I try not to even let it become that, because it's just negative for you. You don't gain anything by getting upset by it.
Yeah.
The best thing you do is try to just push it aside and concentrate on the Phoenix Cardinals. I mean, that's the biggest chore we have, and that's the thing that I'm worried about the most. The other things will come and go. Playing football on Sunday is the bread and butter of what we do and what we're about, and so you try to just isolate on that. It might affect you a little bit, but you try to just totally push it aside.
Yeah, let's hope we can push it way aside, not to worry about it anymore. Congratulations on a great effort.
Thank you,
for being our Player of the Week. Here's your plaque, and keep it going.
Oh, it's a great win for us. It really was.
Good. Joe, the quarterback situation, it comes and goes, and it's been here recently, and you've talked with the press, and you've talked with the coach in the last day or two, and now you're talking to me, and as far as you're concerned, how's the situation stand?
Well, I don't think it's any different than it's been. I mean, we both know that Steve and I are going to play at some time, and I think the whole thing's just has been blown out, because the big thing I think it came from was everybody thought I wanted to be traded. And I think the thing that people don't realize is that usually when you do interviews with a print media, you're answering questions. And it's brought to you, so you answer the question, then all of a sudden they take it and say, he wants to be traded. They take out what they want, and which is absolutely crazy, because I love it here and I want to be here. And the only thing is it's just like Steve, I don't want to be a backup. Nobody does. And I just think that it gives them something to write about whenever there's things aren't going well, or papers might need a little boost in sales or something. So they go after us, and it makes the front page, and it makes for good reading.
All right, if this thing is correctable, all right, to end it, to correct it, what would have to be done?
Well, I think it's almost impossible. Maybe? Well, I think that we try to talk with Bill, But like I said, there's certain things that he's not going to say. He can't say. I can't be a put your arm around and go have a beer type of buddy with him, because he's got to make decisions. That's just the way it's got to be. But, you know, and he communicates, I think, to us as much as he can. But then what happens is people try to pull between it, because, like I said, it makes for good reading.
Yeah.
And if he says something, then they can use it another way, or I say something, they can use it the opposite way, or in a way that'll make things a little more irrational. They'll do it.
How you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
You ready to play?
Yeah, I'm going to try at practice today, and you know, they're saying they want to just kind of take it slow. Yeah. You know, like any player, they want to jump in. That's kind of how I feel, but I'm sure they're gonna pace it and see how it goes. But I feel pretty good about it. The walk through this morning, I felt pretty good. So,
do you think you'll have these problems when DC's the general manager?
Well, I would hope not. I might be sitting right next to him in that office.
Okay. When we come back, we'll preview the Phoenix Cardinals.
Maybe you smoke marijuana more than a few times. Maybe you've been sexually active more than a few times. Maybe you're over 35. Maybe you want to be a parent someday. Maybe you want to be a parent today. Then watch Dr. Nancy Snyderman's report beginning Wednesday at 6 and 11 on Channel 5's Eyewitness News.
Tuesday is an important day. Your decision is not so much about the candidates, it's about you. You really want to risk going back to high interest rates, high inflation, higher taxes, and higher unemployment? You want to go back to the days of military weakness, caring more about criminals than victims? We can't risk that. If you agree with me that we must keep America working and the economy growing, I'd like your vote on Tuesday.
The nation's business running like clockwork. Just one airline offers hourly service every business day to both Los Angeles and Chicago. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Hourly. Come fly the friendly skies.
Car insurance. If you're confused now, just wait till Wednesday. More than one proposition could pass, leaving the insurance industry in gridlock. I'm Craig Miller. We'll look at how a complex ballot is leading to car insurance confusion Monday at 6.
Jackie Kennedy's famous White House tour. Since then, no television audience has seen this much of the presidential palace until now. Mike Hagedis takes us for a private and exclusive tour behind closed doors, beginning Monday on Eyewitness News at 6.
The San Francisco 49ers have never played the Phoenix Cardinals. They played the Chicago Cardinals and the St. Louis Cardinals, but this will be their first meeting against the Phoenix version. There are a lot worse places to be in November than Phoenix. Now, the overall record against the Cardinals is 8 wins and 7 losses. The Cards dominated the 70s, while the 49ers have not lost to the Cardinals in the 80s. The Cardinals were the team which Joe Montana returned to play against 2 years ago after back surgery. Remember, the 49ers won that one 43-17. Now, this year's Cardinals team is surprising a lot of people. They're just one game off the lead in the NFC East. Last week, they beat Dallas 16-10. Neil Lomax had an off day last week against the Cowboys, completing just 13 of 32 passes and getting sacked 4 times. But he's still a factor to reckon with. The Cardinals were scoreless until Cedric Mack picked off this Steve Pallure pass in the 3rd quarter. Then Lomax hit Ernie Jones with this pass, and Jones fought his way to the 3. Earl Farrell would run it in from there. The Cardinals had 4 sacks last week, so you can bet they got a lot of attention in the tape room. All in all, this is a tough game for the 49ers and one that both clubs need to win to keep pace in their divisions. What are the keys to winning this one for the 49ers? Well, first of all, they're going to have to come up with one of their best defensive efforts of the year. Phoenix quarterback Neil Lomax is one of the best in the National Football League, and he can really get on a roll. Rolls like where he'll go 14 out of 16 or 16 out of 20. When he gets a hot hand, he's as good as anybody in football. He has two great receivers to throw to in Roy Green and J.T. Smith. Roy Green is a deep threat. He can get deep like Jerry Rice and get deep like anyone in the league. J.T. Smith is just a great receiver who can catch it anywhere. The running game, Stunt Mitchell and Earl Farrell. Stunt Mitchell's a tough little guy who can score from anywhere on the field, and Earl Farrell is leading them in rushing with over 5 yards a carry. Offensively, the 49ers will have to get the running game going, and then I think use ball control passing, because the more they can keep the ball away from Phoenix, the better off they'll be. They can't afford any letdown in this one because the Cardinals are dangerous and capable of putting a lot of points on the board. Now, next week, we'll have all the highlights plus our player of the week, and we'll see you then.
Promotional consideration provided by Casio, makers of the popular TV 400, a 2-inch color handheld TV with built-in speaker and rod antenna. Casio, a world leader in consumer electronics.